What is going on, boys? Testing out some more of the Blast evolutions. Still on this hype train. I'm just really excited for the new cards. So, new starter deck cards as well as BT14, Magna, and Digimon. Here down in set control. Yes, I know everyone's absolutely most hated deck, but I thought that this card was a little bit too ridiculous, and I kind of wanted to just see how it would fare against like sort of a deck that can kind of already have a good set control matchup. Maybe Magna and Digimon like lets you stall out more, or just makes the matchup unfair. I don't know. That's what we're here to find out. So we are going to go ahead and start off with Magna and Digimon, and then our opponent is going to search the Metal Greymon Ace off of the Agumon. We swing into security. Of course, we know he has it, so that we can kind of bait it out to then play the Wyvern's Breath to then gain back the 3 memory. So kind of wasting our opponent's resources here, I think, is the goal. And I think that becomes a lot more important now that these cards are going to be in the game, because we can kind of bait them out, be able to make our opponent use those cards up, and then maybe out the card immediately to gain back the memory. So there's a lot of cool outplaying you can do, and lots of new strategy as well. So our opponent is going to then just search some more cards off of the Agumon, setting up with the Greymon in the back. And the cool thing about the new Ace cards is the fact that like Metal Greymon and WarGrey Ace can just go on top of like any Greymon that's like the appropriate level, right? So you don't really need to care about it being red or black. It just evolves on whatever for 0 cost. And so we're just going to play a couple tamers here. Hand's not the best, and especially since our opponent has Yuya in play. Basically every turn they're going to be able to get an option immune like Digimon on the field. So we see there the Greymon X is going to swing, of course, immune to options, so won't be able to out that. And then our opponent is just going to go into Greymon Metal Grey X here. It does get the protection effect, of course, but no deletion there. So we are going to start with 4. Can definitely do something like a Hell Scythe, would not be the worst, but we wouldn't be able to delete any of the opponent's Digimon. We'd just be able to play out a Magna and Digimon. So Fly Bullet is going to come down here, being able to delete the Metal Greymon X since the Grey X is unaffected. Don't tap Mimi here because our opponent was going to go to 3 anyway, so there's not really a point. And then our opponent is just going to start over. I think in a matchup like Black War Greymon, you kind of just want to deck them out. Like, I don't really think you're winning based off of aggro. They have a lot of defensive plays. And so our opponent is going to go Metal Grey Ace here, which is a little bit risky, of course. But the fact that we now have option immunization from the Yuya since he evolved into the Metal Greymon Alterous mode is pretty annoying. And then I can just go ahead and pass turn with the Kari here to go ahead and promote the Salamon here is drawing off the Upa, and then Salamon will recover 1 on deletion. But of course, our opponent is going to have the WarGrey Ace. So shout out to Orange Swim. He actually did whip up a couple of proxies on the Digimon card dev. So the Salamon is going to be deleted, recovering 1. But then, of course, all turns the WarGreymon is going to unsuspend. Not that that really matters. I guess if I had another swing, he could block it. But I'm just going to play the Magna and Digimon Ace. Being able to recover 1 and then minus 5k on the WarGrey, I guess isn't super relevant, but being able to remove something possibly is really good. And so our opponent is just going to rinse and repeat here, going into Greymon X as well as utilizing the Yuya. And then we're going to see a Hades Force, which is unfortunate. Of course, utilizing the X antibody to make it only cost 5. The problem is that WarGreymon Ace is only a 6 cost, so you can't really kill too many things. He is going to delete the Mimi plus the Magna and Digimon Ace because they total up to 6, and then gaining 3 off the overflow, and then swinging with the Greymon here, swinging with the WarGreymon Ace, being able to then hit a option card, playing back the Magna and Digimon, gaining 2, and then of course the WarGreymon is going to unsuspend because the security card was removed from security. So lots of stuff going on here, lots of interactability. I think there's a lot of cool plays you can do now on both players' turns. Again, it's just so cool. Like, I know a lot of people might not initially have liked the idea. Quote-unquote hand traps are now in the game. So now I'm going to go ahead, swing into security with Metal Grey, or with the Magna and Digimon, but my opponent is going to have the Metal Grey Ace to be able to delete it at 6,000 or lower. So basically just stopping my attack here without even having to block. Is pretty significant. And then I'm just going to Hell Scythe bring it back. But now there's a lot of things you got to keep track of, and I don't think you can just swing into security haphazardly, which I think it's really cool because I think it just slows down the game a little bit and makes it so that there's consequences for you utilizing these really powerful cards. So our opponent is going to go Metal Greymon X Antibody, once again using Yuya like the third time on the same stack, and then being able to delete the Magna Angemon and then possibly just going into security, or just utilizing another copy of Hades Force to blow up the Karis, swinging with the Metal Greymon X here, and then evolving into the Black WarGreymon X, costing him quite a bit of memory, of course, but I suppose it's fine against this matchup. But he's going to hit the Wyvern's Breath, then deleting the WarGreymon Ace, which overflows from, I believe, both the Ace as well as the Metal Greymon Ace. So gaining back a ton of memory there is pretty crazy. And then my opponent just passing turn, and then swinging into security once again, hitting a Magna Angemon Ace, and then just going to Digivolve into the Greymon. Sekitai Greymon's pretty nasty against me in this matchup, and then just going to play out another body. So I'm still in a bit of a bind. The Magna Angemon Haste has definitely helped, but the problem is the fact that your opponent can out it, and it gives him so much tempo. Like, Black WarGreymon is a slow deck, but the fact that you can like evolve into a guy for like 4 or 5, and then blow up an Overflow Digimon, and then gain back that memory for free is pretty crazy. So we are going to remove the Black WarGreymon stack here, gaining back the memory, since we did have our opponent did have the Metal Grey Ace underneath it. So just putting him to 3 is pretty cool. It makes all your option cards much cheaper. So that combined, like, I can see in a meta where everyone's playing Overflow cards, and then you can just remove them for really cheap, and then you have really powerful defensive plays. I can see security control being really, really strong. But our opponent just being able to kill us through to security because of the Yuya. Not that that mattered in that case, because my security was pretty terrible. So opponent's going to start off first here with a decent stack. Going to go Agu X and Grey X. I'm just going to turn 1 Magna Ace. Keep in mind that this card does only recover if your security is 5 or less. So while I do have another one in my hand, I won't be able to play it next turn to be able to recover. But like turn 1, what are they going to do? Like, he played for 4. If they answered in a couple turns, like, I don't think you really care because you've already gotten value off of it. It's just a really cheap and powerful way to not only gain back security, but just removing it 5k or lower, or 4k or lower, whatever, however many security cards you have, is pretty crazy. So opponent just going to set up a little bit with an Agumon as well as a red memory boost here. Choking me to 1 is pretty strong, and I don't really have any removal cards. Don't think I want to waste a Chaos Dag on something like a Greymon X. Unfortunately, going to hit a Hades Force in security. I was fearing a Metal Grey Ace, but that would have been fine because it doesn't pop the Magna Angemon. But Hades Force does delete something with the highest play cost, so it is going to straight up kill my Magna Angemon as well as pass turn. So now there's situations like this that you got to keep track of, where not only do you lose your Digimon, but it's also like a Hammer Spark effect where you're passing turn as well. So pretty interesting. And then our opponent is just going to play the Metal Grey Ace. I know you guys can't tell off of the card art, but it is actually just a 4 play cost for a level 5. So again, maybe really strong into something like security control, where you just want to put out a bunch of bodies. But you're also playing around Death X because it is a level 5, so being able to play a level 5 for a 4 play cost is pretty crazy. So just gonna play Magna Angemon and then deleting the Ace off of the Fly Bullet, gaining back 3 memory, and then Agumon swinging into security here, and then tapping the Kari to gain 1 memory back. So lots of cool interactions here. And then Greymon just evolve in the back. I'm going to go ahead and swing into security, but again, not playing around the Metal Grey Ace to be able to just delete my Magna Angemon. Perhaps that's what I wanted, because now I can just Chaos Dag it and gain back the memory, trashing a Cool Boy, which is pretty crazy, and then putting my opponent back to 3 due to Overflow. So there's, like I said, there's a lot of stuff you got to keep track of, and I think if you're playing security control, especially wasting your opponent's resources is huge. I think more so than you caring about losing your cards, you want to waste their cards. So he's going to pop the red memory boost, going on up into Metal Grey, as well as Metal Grey X, to gain some sort of protection against maybe Wyvern's Breaths, any Lonkies, or anything like that. Then just hitting into a Holy Wave, recovering 1, thinking on the Kari here, but I figured it'd be better to just put my opponent's or my opponent to put me to more than one rather than choking myself to one with the Kari. So I'm just going to then counter with the Magna Digimon Ace, putting my opponent to 1 because it is a 4 play cost, and then minus 6,000 on the Agumon there, being able to recover and remove a card's crazy. And now I'm just playing Magna Digimon Turbo, playing out the other one with the Hell Scythe, and then Kari tapping to gain, and then my opponent is going to go Black WarGreymon, being able to delete something 6 cost or lower, killing the Magna Ace, and then gaining back some memory, unsuspending as well. Doesn't trigger the Metal Gray X antibody because it wasn't opponent's turn, but then he is also blocker, so thinking a little bit on the swing here, not going to actually swing, but we are going to just Chaos Deck it and putting it to the bottom, again wasting our opponent's resources, wasting a Black WarGreymon and X antibody that we know they only have a couple copies of. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then putting our opponent to 7 is fine, I suppose, but he is going to go basically full stack here, the 1 of Greymon X, with the X antibody here, and then going to go Metal Greymon X, being able to delete the Magna Digimon, which is fine, I guess. If he hits any more Hell Scythes, I can just keep looping them like I've been doing. And then we're going to go Black WarGreymon X, drawing off the Cormon as well, swinging 2 checks due to the Greymon inherited, as well as trashing a security card on my turn because it unsuspends. It does have reboot, so right there it's going to trash the Venusmon. So I'm going to be put at 3, swinging security, and then my opponent is not going to redirect. I'm going to draw and recover 1. Still at 3 memory. I guess I can just start healing some more, but I'm going to just go Magna Digimon to my opponent. It's the same outcome basically, because my opponent would kill it and then gain 3 memory back. So I'm just going to put him to 4 anyways. And then he's going to swing security. Once again, should be 2 checks here. I think we're not going to catch that one, so the Mimi should have been checked, and then the 3rd security card should have been trashed. So I do apologize about that, guys. We're just going to Chaos Deck it anyways. You're going to see it. I don't think it'll matter, but again, apologize about the slight misplay. Putting our opponent to 7 with another Chaos Deck. Didn't get the chance to utilize Yuya on that one. So we are just going to go ahead and go on up into another stack. Greymon X on top of the Greymon, Metal Greymon X and whatnot. And then going to go ahead and swing security probably into a Gaiamon evolving for 5, checking 2, and of course trashing the last one is going to be really strong. But unfortunately for my opponent, not going to be able to do that because we are going to heal off the Holy Wave here, trashing 1 security but still putting me at 1 security. And then I'm just going to heal a bunch here, Magna Digimon for 4 and then Holy Wave for 2, for 6, putting me back to 3 security. Opponent gonna swing 2 checks, no Yuya protection, hitting into, I think that's like the 3rd Chaos Deck of this game. So when you high roll that hard, there's not really much your opponent can do to prevent it. They're sitting at 6 security, totally cool with me. And then we're just gonna see the the WarGrey Ace played for a cost of 6. Choking me to 1's really good, but I'm just gonna counter by playing a Wyvern's Breath and then gaining back 4 memory, basically just wasting my opponent's turn there. Last egg here, gonna swing Agumon. Kari is going to come down. Gonna play yet another WarGrey Ace, and I think my opponent is just sitting at 1 card in deck, so we're just going to Wyvern's Breath it. Passing turn, basically. I'm gonna gain some memory, but it's not gonna matter because they're gonna draw their last turn. So, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think down in the comment section below about the Ace cards. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.